Labor room management needs full efforts by your entire team right from pin to piano. We need to make certain protocols in writing for our staff to follow it 24 by 7. It is a mini operation theater, so we should follow the same rules as we maintain operation theater for autoclaving and sterilization. Patients are admitted at any time, so most experienced, skilled, sincere, and soft spoken staff should be appointed 8 hours. Usually, two staff sisters, one ayaban, and one sweeper. Cum cleaner should always be in labor room who can also manage operation theater if the need arises. Labor room should be fully equipped and ready with all needed medicines, surgical instruments, and wrapping cloths. The first duty of the staff when the patient get admitted is to fill up the indoor case with necessary informations by going through her file, asking few questions. Also ask the hospital file from the OPD. Remember the same name as it appears in the Aadhaar card should be entered into the indoor case paper. So it makes easy when we give the birth certificate to the mother and father. Routine cleaning, preparing the parts, internal examinations can be done by staff to know dilatation and effacement of the cervix. Findings should be informed to the consultant doctors. Patient then can take bath and change the clothes to wear hospital dress and cap. This will have psychological effect on the patient that enough and perfect care is being taken. Labor room has social and medical management. Social management is to keep the relatives informed time to time regarding the health of the patient and baby inside. Many questions will be asked and all should be answered very quietly. Relatives can be made to sit in waiting room near the labor room. Medical management protocol must be decided by consultant. Cardiotocography helps a lot. Repetitive internal examinations can be avoided. Patients are extremely apprehensive and have strong pains, so decided analgesics must be given as needed. Full trial of labor to be given, but patients should not go for prolonged labor. We do not discuss here the management of all four stages as every doctor knows it well. But I suggest to use outlet small forceps in the terminal second stage when the head remains on the vulva. Patients should not take unnecessary extra pains for the delivery of the head. Give a long, nice episiotomy, apply short outlet forceps, and in just one pull, baby delivers. Please not perfect time. Train your staff in such a way that they do not go outside and inform the gender of newborn. Keep that privilege for you. Always call neonatologist to remain present and take care of the newborn. Take time in delivery of the placenta. Insert PEG in the vagina at episiotomy site to reduce the bleeding. Go outside and meet the relatives and husband. Give them news of patients and baby's health, baby's gender, and sincerely congratulate them. Appreciate that the patient was very cooperative. This will have very good effect on all relatives. I usually take episiotomy stitches under short general anesthesia given by anesthetist. It has many advantages. Patient will not have pain. She needs sedative rest for few hours. You can take the stitches with ease. An anesthetist manages the general condition of the patient. So, win-win situation for all. By chance, if patient may need cesarean section, please take the decision timely in action zone of mentally kept partogram. Call all the relatives and confidently explain the situation and indication of cesarean section. Some immediately agree, some take times, but keep cool and everything will be as per your final decision. Operation theatre should always be ready for surgery. Please hang a printed board of mobile numbers of anesthetists, neonatologists, physicians, your professional obstetric colleagues, and also the numbers of all blood bank.
Daytime obstetric is still new and facing more rejections by practicing obstetricians. Medical science is progressing at jet speed. Gone are the days in obstetrics when watchful expectancy and masterly inactivity were considered better in managing labor from first stage to last stage of labor. Normal labor refers to the presence of regular uterine contraction that causes progressive dilatation and effacement of the cervix and fetal descent. It is viewed in the terms of its phases latent, active, and decelerative. Latent phase lasts for 6 to 8 days, during which the uterine contractions are with less intensity and the frequency is longer. It serves the purpose of making the cervix soft to dilate actively in active phase of labor. This latent phase can be managed by obstetricians by using Cerviprime-like gel to insert in cervical canal, and it makes the cervix soft in 6 to 8 hours. In short, it does the job of 6 to 8 days in 6 to 8 hours. Daytime obstetrics depends on this principle. Their main concern of the patient and relative is when the labor pain starts to her. The village girl thinks that whether she will be able to reach the hospital in proper time if labor pain starts at night, whether transport would be available or not. The town girl worries about the availability of her husband at home when the labor pain starts. He is always on the tour. The modern city girl thinks about her job, business, and when to take leave from office. She has a dilemma whether the obstetrician in charge would be available or not if she starts labor pain on Saturday night or Sunday morning. The picture is full of confusions. To solve this, labor can be induced after completion of 38 weeks when the fetus is considered to be the mature. If other criteria are normal, she can be admitted at previous night at 10 p.m. Insertion of Cerviprime by midwife at morning 3 a.m. By 9 a.m. next morning, the cervix is enough soft to dilate it if oxytocin restarted on arrival of the doctor. Cervix start dilating and effacing and may reach to full dilatation by 5 to 6 p.m. Delivery take place by 6 to 7 p.m. If dilatation is not proper, more trial can be given to the patient on the doctor's decision, or patient can be taken for cesarean section. Daytime obstetric is new and it needs lots of research and case studies, but can be tried by us. And who knows, in future it may be a routine procedure. Operation theatre management. Operation theatre is ideally adjoined to labor room with two-door separation if possible. Most common surgeries done in operation theatre are cesarean sections and hysterectomy. The attending and assisting staff sisters should be trained as per surgeon's technique. If possible, there should be a note in which all the steps of cesarean section should be written from A to Z, so all the staff should read it. Keep a regular anesthetist on call. Keep 2 to 3 in the list so they know all the whereabouts of medicines. An operation room boy should know all the details of instruments, gown, light, generator switches, etc. Steps of surgery are best known to obstetricians, so not discussed over here. Please avoid presence of any relatives of patients or anyone in operation theatre. Please keep a box of all emergency medicines always in theatre. Please ask a neonatologist to remain present in operation theatre. After the surgery, it's a good practice for the surgeons to meet all relatives and give first-hand information about patient conditions. If little serious, do inform in good word without hiding. Congratulate the husband and explain the indication of cesarean again to them and tell them that the decision was very timely taken. This will make them very happy. Documentations in the form of record of delivery, either vaginal or cesareans. If cesarean, please write the indication, short intraoperative findings, full name as it appeared in the Aadhaar card, plus mobile number, date, time of birth and gender should be written in the booklet and also to be entered in the desktop computer if you are using that. Birth can be informed to the authority as per the rules digitally or by filling up the form or by both and sent to the desired office in time. Sudden complications or sudden death if occurs in the operation theatre, how to manage it. Sudden death in labor room or operation theatre is once in a year episode. So it should be taken seriously when it occurs. It is a real stressful condition for us. Doctors should manage it very smartly and coolly. Always speak the truth. Complications may occur in any patient, so not to worry and not to act in a way that it was a fault of doctor or hospital. Anesthetist can take care of the situation. A physician and other doctor friends can be called immediately before declaring the death. Admin can play a vital role. We must have a group of non-medical friends too, including advocate, politician, etc., who can rush to our hospital in few minutes. During our practice, we have many such patients who say that they are advocate, they are politicians, but we do not keep a record of their numbers. But now onwards, please keep the record. Advocate can help a lot if need arise. Mob violence can be prevented if 10 to 12 friends of ours are with us during that precious moments. So always keep a good friend circles and call them as the need arise. Our colleagues can better, but sometimes they are very busy at their own hospitals and cannot come immediately, while non medical friends and other family friends can rush immediately. Do not worry about payment and manage rest of the things with cool mind. Helping hand of colleagues is always very good. Indoor room management. Patient should be either transferred to her room soon after the delivery or cesarean sections or can be kept in adjoining waiting area. Indoor room management is second most important period and management to prove the services of the hospital. Indoor staff should be active, experienced, smiling, and service oriented. Perfect post delivery or post operative management script should be available with staff sister and they should visit the patient every 4 hourly or and as and when called. All routine care to be taken with smiling attitude. Patient likes neat and clean room. Relatives should be allowed during 4 to 6 p.m. only. Advantage of visiting relatives are a one-way publicity of hospital, as what is seen by them is believed by them. Neonatologists should take round twice a day and same way the obstetrician should visit 3 times a day. All patient has more complaints about pain and about newborn feeding. Both should be taken care of. If possible, call a permanent photographer who can visit in afternoon and take photos of mother and child. It is lifetime remembrance. Discharge date is a happy day for patient, staff, doctor and admin. Patient should be given all needed papers, all diet plan and medicines should be explained in details. Few early postnatal exercise to be informed by staff sister as per routine made. Neonatologist can also say few instructions to the patient. Admin can check payment history, should visit the room, say good words and to give a gift hamper or small gift as per hospital policy. Many hospitals gives big gift box having baby's clothes, cream, powder and a big book for the mom to read and photos of mom and newborn. If possible, give a booklet to write a record from the patient regarding their experience of the hospitals. Usually they write very good things in that book and there is no complaint from them. This written book information is very important if by chance some complications arises in future, and if they go to the court of law, this booklet in the hand written by them would be very useful evidence. Patients should be asked to meet doctor in OPD chamber for some final greetings. Hospital admin should accompany the patient till the door and should also manage for a van from hospital for travel from the hospital to home if they do not have their vehicle. The follow up patient can be called as per routine after 7 and 15 days. It's a good practice to examine them and solving all their multiple queries. As per psychology, after sales service is more important. Patients should be encouraged to attend postnatal class and care of newborn class. They are more concerned for newborn care. A small booklet prepared in local language for newborn care must be given from hospital. Visit to neonatologist should be planned in same visit. Next follow-up after 3 months for any IUCDs, etc. if the patient desires. So friends, thank you very much for listening and watching this part 3 of Smart Obstetric Practice Show. In the next part 4, we'll have an interesting and important tips for the Smart Obstetric Practice. So please do not miss to watch and listen part 4. Thank you very much again.